Hello my crafty friends! Today in the lab I'm making some industrial boho style earrings from ordinary drink cans. So come on into the lab and let's make a little upcycled magic. To start this project you're going to need your flattened aluminum sheet, and if you have questions on how to go about breaking down aluminum cans or how to flatten the sheets, I will link to a free little mini course in the description, or you can click the QR code on the screen right now, and that will take you to my free mini course that has lots of information on how I break down my aluminum cans into 4 usable parts, 3 different ways to flatten the cans, different ways to remove the tops of the cans, and a lot of projects and other information as well. So you can check that out if you're interested. So the first thing you want to do is cut out your earring shape, and you can use any number of things to make your shape. I used this circle template for some of my earrings. I also just cut out some different paper designs to use, and for this I'm going to be just using a large circle template that I'm going to be cutting out, and you need 2 pieces for each earring, so I'm going to need a total of 4 for a pair of earrings. So I'm just going to use a little bit of my glue stick. I want this to come back off easily, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the middle here, and then I find it easier to cut on the colorful side. It's just easier for me to see the paper. So I'm just going to place that there for a minute and let the glue set up. And then I'm just going to use a regular pair of scissors to cut out this circle shape. So there's my 2 circles for my first earring. And I should have mentioned you can also use paper punches if you have sort of a simple shape of a paper punch and it's the shape that you want to use. You can certainly use paper punches on the aluminum as well. So the next thing I want to do is punch my hole in the metal, and so I'm just using a little piercing tool that I have. I got this one at Dollar Tree, so they're pretty inexpensive. And because this is a circle, I'm just going to punch just about 1/16 of an inch from the edge, and it doesn't matter where on the circle I punch my hole. And then I want to make my hole just a little bit bigger, so I'm going to carefully slide it all the way down onto this piercing tool. And I want to make sure that my hole is a similar distance on this second piece. And because the pieces are going to fit together this way, I want to punch from the aluminum side on both of them, because there's kind of a rough edge that you can feel after you punch the hole. And we are going to smooth that out a little bit, but it's not perfect, so you definitely want that on the inside of your earring. So once you have the holes punched, I'm just going to take my embossing tool, another tool I got at Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take the smaller end and just push it into that hole, just to kind of push the metal shards out so that I'm not closing up my hole. And then I just want to take the bigger end and try to kind of emboss down those raw edges to make them a little bit smoother. They're not going to be perfect, but you do want to flatten them out a little bit so that your pieces will fit together. So I'm ready to add my design to these, and there's several different ways that you can add designs. You can use your embossing tool and hand emboss. For this first one, I'm going to just use a hammering method. And what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've just laid out a design using some paper clips onto some painter's tape. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of align this so that it's on the center of my design. And then I need a piece of clear packing tape. And I'm going to lay it over the aluminum and tape the aluminum down to my design and to the painter's tape. And I'm going to lay out just a soft, it's a couple layers of t-shirt cloth. And I want to hammer with the tape side up to start with, because I'm going to try to push the design into my metal. And you're going to have to hammer pretty hard. I'm using a rubber mallet, and my table's going to shake because my camera's hooked to this table, so bear with me. And then I'm going to flip this over and hammer it on a hard surface. And I'm just going to do that until my design comes through and I'm happy with the way that it looks. You do want to be sure to hammer from both sides, because that will allow the piece to lay flatter, because you'll notice that it starts to curl up as you just hammer it from one side. So that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this piece and hammer this second piece. So now I need to remove my aluminum, and if you're careful, you can pull the packing tape off of the painter's tape pretty easily. And your design should stay stuck to the painter's tape, and your metal will stay stuck to the packing tape. So you can reuse this layout for your other pieces of aluminum. And for my design, I decided that I was just going to put a little embossed dot in the center here. So I'm just using my embossing tool, starting with the smaller end and then working up to the bigger end to make kind of a dot in the middle here. So here are my 4 embossed pieces ready for the next step. But before I move on, I wanted to show you a couple of other ways that you can add patterns and designs to your metal. So you can obviously use this tape and hammer method with a lot of different materials. I just used the paper clips here, but you can probably think of some other things that you could use to hammer a texture into your metal. You can also add texture very quickly and simply by using the rubber mallet and a paving stone or your sidewalk, just to add some quick texture to your metal pieces. And one other way that you can add some texture is by using embossing folders. I do not have an embossing machine, but I do have this one embossing folder, and I've used it a couple of different times to do some hand embossing. So I'm switching to a different shape here, and for this method, if you decide to use it, you're going to need to emboss on the aluminum side and on the printed side. And you don't have to have the design matched up perfectly, but I try to kind of line them up on opposite sides of this embossing folder so that they are similar. It's a little difficult to see the embossing on the printed side, and you may want to try to remove the print before you do it if you find it difficult to see. And I do also have a video on how to remove the print, which you can find on my YouTube channel or as part of the mini course that I mentioned before. So the other thing about this method is that it will add a natural curve to the design, which is why you want to emboss on opposite sides. So once you've chosen the part of the embossing folder that you want to use, you're going to need a good amount of packing tape to tape these pieces down, because you're only going to be able to emboss from one side, and so the pieces are going to curl naturally. So you want to hold them down as tightly as you can to the embossing folder. Alright, so I've got my 2 pieces attached as securely as possible to my embossing folder here, and I'm just going to start working with the large end of my embossing tool to rub over the design and kind of start to reveal the pattern. And you might not be able to see it, but the edges are already curling up. But hopefully you can see that the pattern is also starting to come through. And as I work this design, I'm going to move down to smaller and smaller tools to get more and more detail. So once you're finished embossing, you can go ahead and remove the tape, and you'll notice that your piece will be curled a little bit. And you're just going to repeat the process on this other side. So you can see my pieces are a little bit wonky here, and I need them to lay a lot smoother. So I'm going to flip them over, and I'm just going to take my small end of my embossing tool on a hard surface, and I'm just going to emboss the very edge all the way around the shape. And then if you need to, you can kind of reshape it with your fingers a little bit, but it should have a better shape, and it should just have kind of a nice natural curve to the piece. So when you're done, you should have two pieces that fit together with the silver side out and have a nice little curved shape to them. So once you have all your pieces embossed, you're ready to glue them together. And to do that, I'm just using an Elmer's glue stick, and I want to put glue on the back side of all of my pieces. And to help me line up the holes, I use my piercing tool, and I'm just going to slide the two pieces with the glue facing each other onto that piercing tool. And then I'm going to just line up the edges as well as I can. And I want to use some clothespins to just hold the edges and the glue together until the glue dries. So I've switched to a new style because this glue has had time to dry. And you may find that when you are pairing up your two sides of your aluminum, they don't match perfectly. So once the glue is dried, you can go back in and just trim off that excess aluminum. And it doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to cover the edge, but if it's sticking out enough to be trimmed off, you probably want to clean it up a little bit. This next step is optional, but I like to add sort of an antique type of finish. And so I'm just going to brush on a little black acrylic paint, and then I'm going to use my paper towel to wipe most of it off. And it helps if you have a little skewer or something to hold your piece with so you don't have to get your fingers coated in paint. So you can decide whether you like this antique finish, and you can either wipe it off or you can kind of blot it off. And if you take too much off, you can put more back on if you want to. I just think it gives it sort of a nice industrial finish. I'm switching styles once again because this paint is nice and dry, and I'm going to finish the edges now with some tulip metallic dimensional paint. And I always have trouble finding this. It's not with the regular paints, it's with the t-shirts and the fabric paint if you're looking for it in the craft store. So I also have a paper clip here that I've just bent into kind of an S shape, and I want to go ahead and put that on my earring and kind of hold it as carefully as I can. And what I want to do is run some paint all the way around the edges. Now if you need to do part of it and let it dry and then come back to it, you can. I'm going to try to do the whole piece all at once, which gets a little tricky at the top here, but I think I'm going to be able to do it. And then it'll be on the hook and I can go ahead and just hang it up to dry. I'm going to switch styles again here because my dimensional paint is dry on this style, and I want to put a finishing coat on it, and you can put any finish that you want to on your earrings. I'm going to use this Minwax polyacrylic. This goes on and it's very easy to work with, so again I'm using my paper clip hook here, and I'm just going to brush a coat on both sides and get a little bit on the painted edge as well. And you don't need very much. So once that's done, I'm going to hang this up to let it dry again. Now I'm going to switch styles one more time because these earrings are ready for the final step, which is just the assembly. And I do have a pretty large jump ring here. I apologize, I don't remember exactly what size they are, but I think they are maybe a 10. You need enough to get through the, there's a fair thickness here on your earring, so you want to make sure that you have enough to get through there and have a nice dangle. And then I'm going to just add my earring hook. And I've got one finished earring. So if you've never opened jump rings, there's a little break in them. And I can't see them anymore, but I can feel it with my thumbnail. And so you need 2 pairs of needle nose pliers just to twist the jump ring open. And then you can loop through your materials. And you're just going to do the opposite motion to close the jump ring. So you don't want to pull it apart, you just want to do a twisting motion to line that back up. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for visiting the lab today. I hope you found some inspiration here. Don't forget to check out all the extra resources linked in the description. There's also a link to sign up for the Upcycled Design Lab's email list if you'd like to be notified when there's a new video. You can also visit the Upcycled Design Lab website or YouTube channel for more upcycling inspiration and project tutorials. If you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up to let YouTube know that you'd like to see more content from this channel. And if you haven't already, I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button to join my YouTube community. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.